actually one of the trickiest scenes to write was the first 5 minutes, because I wanted, with Krysty, to try and create something that felt accidental, felt like just another day. So they talked a bit, they walked a bit, they talked a bit more, one of them got a letter, and through those idle exchanges, those sort of, things that they're not even thinking about particularly, you begin to pick up information. One of them has a different relationship to home than the other. One is chatting about what happens at home, his dog's had puppies, mum's written to him, blah, blah, blah. The other one doesn't want to talk about it and says it's better not to go back at all. Oh, that's interesting. So why is that? And then a little later you realise he's been here a while longer. He's fought in the Somme, he has a medal, but he's given his medal away. Why is that? You have to wait a little longer. And gradually, the exposition of the details of his past are revealed over the course of 2 hours. And two of the most important details, his family and his actual name, are not revealed until the last minute of the film. And that's very deliberate.
Let's talk about this for a minute.
Why?
We've got orders to cross here.
That is the German front line.
Old man! If we're not clever about this, no one will get to your brother. I will.
Well, everything came down to the characters and the emotion, and although I thought perhaps some of it was insane.
Anything in particular?
Well, yeah, there's several times in which we would sit down and discuss things, and you'd be like, yeah, and then he'll go into the river, and I was like, okay, we're gonna kill an actor.
Guys, how do you feel about that?
We didn't.
I had a twin before me.
But it was always in service to the story. I mean, everything that we were trying to do with the script and everything that was trying to be done with the film was to create something that would feel like, 110 minutes in someone else's life, that would feel so close to reality, strip away all the artifice.
And yeah, a lot of training. And we worked with a military advisor called Paul Bidis, who actually served in the British military. And just spending every single day with each other. But I've got to say, I could not have done it without George. I mean, honest to God, we came as a pair and did it all together. And as well, like, there's not a lot of actors as well that sort of had to experience doing a film in one continuous take. So me and George were the only sort of people who knew how it felt. And we didn't even have to say anything to each other after a tough day. We'd just sort of look at each other and be like, do you want to go and get some food in a minute? But yeah.
This is really the first thing we did was to pace out the sets, because we couldn't construct anything, not a trench, not a farmhouse, orchards. All these things were constructed only to be the exact length of the scene. So the first thing we did was to walk across land, empty fields, holding a script, and mark their journeys with poles and flags and what have you. And if you looked along the land, you could see, the yellow line of poles was George's journey, and the green was Dean's, and the red was the camera. And just watching them do it and letting it get into their bodies without thinking too much about it, and without them feeling I was scrutinising them the whole time. I was quietly watching them, and they sort of became their parts.
Do you have to map out how, at each beat, where you're going to say each word?
Yeah, it was everything works in harmony in terms of the distance covered. As Sam said, it's the length of the orchard has to be the length of the conversation, and that was just all worked out mutually. As we came to those locations, we paced out the scenes, and again went over the scenes to sort of work out the emotional timing of it and what felt right with the rhythm and everything. But yeah, that was basically it was all done. It was all done together. It was never a separate element of distance plus lines.
But what you're looking for is a combination in the movie. This relationship, this moving and evolving relationship between camera and character and landscape, all three of which are moving all the time. You're looking for a particular balance between extreme precision behind the camera. So you really are mapping every single move, and they were very, very well rehearsed. But then you want spontaneity in front of the camera. You don't want to feel they're robotic, and you don't want to feel they're going through moves. So you're embracing accident and chance and shifts in the weather and conditions and animals and babies and people slipping and falling over. And in the last scene that you saw, or penultimate scene, as George is running down the line, he's knocked over twice, but that's an accident. I mean, that's two adrenalized extras who are just charging. And George just fucking got up and carried on. And that was, and we were, if you can imagine, a crew of about 90 people standing behind monitor screens going, "Come on, George, fucking go!" And that's what it was. I mean, and you want that in a way. You want the happy accidents that occur and always occur, you hope, when you're making movies. So it's a combination of the two that is the balance you're looking for.